Try not to be a fucking minimalist. It'll ruin your fucking life. Or not. If I wasn't a minimalist, I wouldn't be here right now. Looking at all of that. There's too many fucking people here. Apparently there's a lot of fucking minimalists in the world. You see, one of the reasons I went on this journey is to be able to do stuff like this before I get too old to fucking do it. And, you know, humans are social creatures, and we tend to want to share our experiences with people. Now, granted, I've been a trucker for 14 years, so 9 times out of 10 I can handle being by myself in these fucking situations. So I guess what I want to do is kind of like extend a little bit of warning for those who are thinking of doing what I did, and that you might be doing so on your own, you know. So I guess one of the perks of corporate slavery is you won't be alone in that. You know, there's plenty of people that will join you in the miserable corporate slavery situation. But, you know, and then you do things to make up for it. Hedonic behaviors, drinking, pleasure seeking, escapism, you know, all the things that we do, that I've done, to deal with that corporate slavery situation. It is what it is, you know, I mean, there's not much you can do about it. Would I trade what I do now to go back to that? Absolutely not, because even then I was fairly isolated. Granted, I was a truck driver, but I was, you know, I'm used to this. This is probably why I'm able to flourish, but I'm understanding that not everybody is in that situation. Not everybody can just come out here and do this, or is in a position in life where they haven't cornered themselves in that corporate slavery situation that so many of us find ourselves in. Now, as I've said in the past, I always get that one motherfucker who's like, how dare you judge me, I'm happy with my life. And, you know, okay, that's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to people that were like me, that felt I was pissing away my time and getting very little in return for it, who lost relationship after relationship due to just being out there in the fucking corporate grind, driving that fucking truck all over the country. Now, I know there's other jobs, but all of them are taking your time and not encouraging you to spend shit tons of money on shit that doesn't really bring you pleasure, joy, or any fulfillment. So when you break out of that shit, I can't explain how good that is, but it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect, and I don't think anybody should portray it as such. There are times when I do question what I'm doing. And then I'm in situations like I am today, which provide the answers I need to that question, and that's stay the course. Don't go back in the truck. Don't go back into the fucking grind. Even though it would be probably a little easier to do so. So right now things are a little rough. Finances aren't quite what I wish they would be. So last summer I was pretty fortunate. I had a few people who were in a position to come along with me on stuff like this, and that was a very fulfilling. I wouldn't have traded none of that. You know, I have great friends, and I know that they need to get on with their lives, and they can't just do what I do. So, you know, I became more acutely aware of this year as I start doing these trips, and I'm realizing that I'm going to be doing them and just sharing them on YouTube with my friends, which is fine. You know, I still don't regret what I'm doing, but I think that for some people I think would find it more difficult, and you know, I think it should be kind of a warning to those of you who, you know, look here, you know, with envious eyes and are trying to dig your way out of your corporate slavery, just to be prepared that not everything is great, you know. And when you get into some of the financial aspects of it, of minimalism, it doesn't work out for everybody. You know, everybody fucking looks great on Instagram, but there's times when you're going to be broke as fuck. You're going to have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and you're going to have to do some mundane shit to make the money necessary to keep going. You know, that's the other issue with minimalism, is it's challenging. You are going to have to evaluate a whole lot of things that you do that you think make you happy. You're going to have to change. You know, you're stepping completely outside the box. Now, I've been kind of doing this a while. Like, you know, if society's telling me to do one thing, I tend to do the complete opposite. It might be even a fucking, you know, oppositional defiance disorder, which is what they label people who don't want to fucking do what they're told. And I tend to fall in that category. I don't know where I got it from. I don't think it's a real mental disorder. It's just a label more than anything else. You know, when society can't deal with something, they tend to label things. You know, for example, if you're trying to eat healthy and you're bucking the fucking guidelines and eating foods that do that, well, guess what? You're an orthorexic now. You know, there's an actual mental term, and I shit you not, that's the direction that the media will attack keto and carnivore from, is the orthorexia situation. And they'll use things like vegans who are malnourished and, you know, people that are trying fad diets and starving themselves as justification to push the normal fucking dogma. And anyone else who is getting results by doing these things that are paradigm shifts from the standardized fucking way of doing shit, you know, that's what's going to happen. And it's the same thing with minimalism. You know, there's a lot of companies and corporate interests that would be threatened by learning to live your life with less and be content and be happy. Because if you're content and happy, you're not going to go out and buy shit. You're not going to participate in the economy as much, you know, as somebody who's just trying to buy the next bigger, better fucking thing that they think's going to make them happy. They buy it, they're happy for a fucking hour or two, and then they need to buy something else to make them happy again. I've seen people caught in that addictive dopamine fucking hamster wheel too, and I was one of them, you know. And I'm still susceptible to it. I can't tell you how many times I see a new camera or a new piece of gear that I think would help my business, and then I have to really sit down and coach myself and say, look, motherfucker, you already got 2 cameras, you can shoot 4K, you can do all of these things with the gear you have, you don't need to upgrade to the next bigger, badder thing. I could use a few more lenses, but, you know, for the most part, I have enough coverage with lenses to get client work and my own personal work done as it stands now. So, you know, that's the other part about minimalism that they don't really tell you on all the fucking channels, is you got to really evaluate yourself and your goals in life and what truly makes you happy and what makes you content. I've had depressions during this time frame, but a lot of those were nutritionally based, as I figured out. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm fucking happy. I more often than not, I'm pretty fucking indifferent to things. You know, I'm not happy and joyous, but I'm not sad and in despair either. My anxiety levels are pretty low. Fucking leave me alone, fly. You know, I've gotten so many benefits that outweigh the drawbacks. So I guess, you know, I wanted to share that in this video, that, you know, it's not always fucking great. You know, it's not always going to be an Instagram photo. Sometimes it's going to be a pile of shit, you know. Sometimes things aren't going to go well. But if you persevere, fucking bees. I hate bees. Leave me alone, you little fucking bastard. Yes, I have a healthy fear of bees. Don't judge me. So, you know, some things I've done to stay up, because it's been a year and a half since I left trucking. And I haven't wanted to go back, despite things not always going according to plan. So currently, I'm financially in a famine. When you run your own businesses, unless it's a wildly successful business, which most businesses are not, you're going to experience feast periods and famine periods. And one of the ways I've been able to keep doing this and be out here on my own is the fact that I have multiple income streams. When one income stream goes to shit, aka YouTube right now, I'm down to $300 a month on YouTube. There was a point where I was making close to $1,000 a month on YouTube between people contributing. Ad revenue was higher back in that time. But since then, things have kind of gone to shit. Ad revenue is way down. Like, I think I'm making $85 a month right now, according to the latest estimates, $75 a month on ad revenue, and maybe a couple hundred a month from people contributing, you know, which is fine. You know, I wasn't expecting that to constantly be able to support me, which is why I stood up the other fucking income streams, is to be able to do stuff about that. So basically, you know, without getting into my journey here, getting debt-free, getting rid of most of my stuff so that I could fit in a single room. You know, technically I'm to the point where I could survive living in a vehicle, traveling, and keeping my stuff in the smallest storage unit that you can rent. And, you know, I have better options than that right now, but if push comes to shove, that's where I would end up if my options dry up. So, you know, it's all about planning and keeping things going, keeping a bit of a buffer financially for the rough times. But, you know, lately things have been on the downslope, you know, as far as the way I'd like to finance my life is obviously YouTube, photography, and videography. But sometimes all three of those are slow at the same time. I do have some client work coming up, but right now the revenue I generate either has to come from my part-time job, Uber, or making videos for YouTube, which is what I'm trying to do. And I've been doing a lot more Uber this past few weeks to try and build up some funds. And one of the things you can do is work the shitty job or the mundane job and build up the funds necessary to do the things you want to do, then go do them, and then come back and rebuild your fund, your travel fund, which is what I'm kind of doing now, because I am planning a road trip here soon, and I need to have the finances to be able to do that. So that's the game plan on surviving financially, and that can be stressful for some people, so I can understand why it's not appealing to some people. You know, it is what it is. So that's how you deal with the financial aspects of this. And sometimes, like I said, it can be stressful. You just gotta do the best you can. You know, push comes to shove, you can jump back into the grind. But I tend to choose things like Uber or a part-time job for my grind work. You know, the work that I don't enjoy. You know, I don't like driving an Uber, I don't like doing all of that. But it doesn't take up all my time to do so. You know, like I can do it for 5-6 hours and make enough money because I'm a minimalist to get by, and I don't need to make a lot of money. I can survive probably on $12,000 a year currently, and I don't know anybody that is able to do that willingly, you know, without some kind of, you know, subsidies or government assistance, because a lot of people are still stuck in that mindset. And I know that not everybody's situation is like mine. I'm well aware of that. But I know that there are people with living situations similar to mine that could benefit from, you know, at least part of what I've done to improve my situation. And it has improved, definitely, which is why I haven't gone back in the truck. Even when my CDL is currently on suspension because I didn't get my, well, it's not suspended, but it's no longer, I can't drive a truck until I go and sort out my medical situation as far as the DOT physical. I haven't gone to get one, and I have no intentions to unless I decide to go back into the industry, but I just can't see myself giving up what I've achieved since I left trucking. You know, so even when there's times when financially it would be a easier, better move, especially as a minimalist. You know, I'd be a borderline fucking baller if I were to get back in the truck as a minimalist. Like, I'd have money coming out of my ass, but I wouldn't have any time. And to me, time is more fucking valuable than money coming out of my ass. So socially, it's a little more nuanced. Things that I've done to get through socially is structure my trips if I want to be social, if I don't want to do a solo trip. And there's times when I just want to be out here completely on my own. But then there's times I enjoy the adventures I have with my friends. So I try and structure it in such a way to where I get time with them when they're available to do this kind of thing. But it's hard, you know, that they have busy lives, and I can't expect them to drop their lives to come run out in the fucking woods with me, you know, and do overnights and hiking and that kind of shit. But I know there's going to be times when they can, and, you know, that is what it is. So if you're not comfortable being by yourself a lot, this might not be the lifestyle for you, you know, and it's still works for me, but there's times when I'm like, you know, geez, kind of sucks just being out here on your own sometimes. You know, but it is what it is. So things you can do is, you know, invite people, you know, make new friends that have the same schedule that you have, make other minimalist friends. But I'm finding I don't actually know anybody in my personal life that's a minimalist that has their life structured in such a way where they can be flexible enough to, like, come out here on a fucking Wednesday and do something like this. You know, granted, I'm working while I'm doing this. I'm making a video, I'm taking pictures, so I'm combining my work with my recreation by doing that. But not everybody has that kind of skill set and can do that kind of thing. So always learn something that'll support. And the work you're doing should be work that you're passionate at. But socially it can get challenging, so, you know, that's something they don't fucking talk to you about. You know, some people do. Some of the van lifers have said, yeah, you're out here by yourself, and sometimes that sucks, you know, and sometimes it's a benefit, you know, sometimes you're like, yeah, and shit. How's it going? So what the fuck do I know anyway? I'm not an expert. Just an asshole. Trying to get the most out of life. By wanting less shit. By eating keto / carnivore / mostly carnivore. While the rest of the world laughs at me. I know, not everybody. I know there's a lot of us out here, but still, so many people in my life are not waking up to any of this stuff, or not even thinking about waking up to it. And it's sad, because I think a lot of people are more miserable than they have to be right now because of these things that I've changed about my life, which is why I share this shit. I'm not looking down on anybody who lives differently than me. I'm just sharing so that somebody who's not happy with their situation has some kind of fucking option to try out, you know? So I'll continue to share my little fucking minimalist creative lifestyle entrepreneur journey as I go, and we'll see how it goes. So please like and subscribe for more shit, and I'll make more shit. Also, in the description is a link to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, and you can go there and leave a tip in the virtual tip jar and help fund me making more videos and driving less Uber. But if not, it's just going to be more time between videos. So there's that. Also on my website you can find 33 audio podcasts. I'm currently on break from podcasting. I will resume it at some point once I'm not as busy with other projects. So if you want more content, head over there. For $5 a download, you get 2 hours of content each. That's 66 hours of me talking shit. So if you like me talking shit, there's more shit and shit. So that's it for this fucking video. I don't know if I made much sense. I just kind of wanted to rattle this off, think it out loud and shit, and see where I come out on it. So have a nice motherfucking day and shit. There's entirely too many people at Tunkhannock Falls today. I thought it was middle of the week. I was gonna be out here by myself. Maybe like a little retired couple or something out here. Nope, everybody and their mother's here. Must be vacation or some shit.